Welcome back to another episode of Movie Mayhem. As always, I'm Spanky.
I'm G.
Usual shout-outs go to Chucky's Playground. This happened a couple weeks ago, but from the time this goes live, but we just got a new layout.
Tiffany Valentine made us a sick new layout.
It's the bee's knees.
Yeah, it's awesome. So we got a total makeover, so give that a look.
Good job, Tiffany Valentine. The Metal Matt podcast.
Yeah.
He did this year-end recap thing. Mm-hmm. That was pretty neat.
Speaking of year-end, hopefully everyone had a good, safe New Year's.
Yeah, get crunk.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Chucky115 awesome with Instagram. He's doing some video projects recently.
Yeah.
And our good friend Simon Gray with the Ballad of Tiffany Valentine.
Yeah.
He's chipping away at that.
He just released another part. Well,
at the time of recording.
Yeah, at the time of recording, he just released 2.1, I believe. So check that out.
All right, so for this week, we decided to wrap up, even though it's
it's the week
a little bit after Christmas. We decided to do another Christmas movie, and this one's a little more different. It's a little more slapstick comedy.
Yeah.
And this is a very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas.
Which I didn't know was in 3D until now.
Yeah, and it is one of those movies that makes fun of all the 3D.
Yeah.
It has all the cheesy 3D
by over-exaggerating the 3D. Like Spy Kids 3D when that came out.
And you haven't seen the second one, which is Guantanamo Bay, but you don't really need to.
No, I feel like I knew pretty much what was going on.
In the first one, Harold and Kumar go to White Castle, they get high and go to White Castle. Harold has a love interest. In the second one, they go to Guantanamo Bay. They both have a love interest. And in this one, it's kind of how the setup is like Harold and his wife are living together happily, and then Kumar has a girlfriend, but they're broken up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the setup for this one, and this is actually probably out of the Harold and Kumar movies, my favorite one. And of course it has Neil Patrick Harris in it.
Yeah, like every... Yeah,
and he does his usual thing, but...
He pretends to not be gay.
So, it's a pretty, it's still a Christmas movie, so the theme is very simple.
Oh, yeah.
And it's, the premise of this is, obviously, Harold and Kumar have gone their separate ways, and they're not really as close friends anymore. And Harold's trying to get his wife Sophia pregnant. And he's having trouble, and her whole family, and they're all, Mexican, and led by her father,
Her father is Machete Kills.
Danny Trejo. And, there's kind of that's kind of one of the plots where he's all about Christmas. He loves Christmas, and he has a Christmas tree, and it means a lot to him. And there's also Kumar, who broke up with Vanessa, who is the chick you met in the second movie, but she's pregnant. He just sits around in his apartment getting high all the time. And he has a friend called Adrian, and he looks familiar. He is he's from College Humor. I'm trying to think of who he is from College Humor.
I honestly
Amir
haven't watched
Blumenfield. And another one, and he's Kumar's new friend.
Yeah.
And Harold has a new friend who's a responsible goober.
Yeah.
And he's
He'll say "oh sugar" instead of shit.
And he's played by
Who is he? He looks familiar.
Thomas Lennon.
Okay.
And he plays a lot of funny roles, he's in Anchorman. I don't know if he had a role in Saturday Night Live.
I wouldn't have watched Saturday Night Live that long ago to know.
Yeah, he has a lot of roles. He's in Night of the Museum movies. I Love You Man, Hot Tub Time Machine.
Oh, I Love You Man. Who was he? He was the gay guy.
Yeah. And
yes.
Cedar Rapids, Bad Teacher.
Chocolat.
He was the doctor in The Dark Knight Rises.
For that.
He was a character in the new Transformers movie. He's in War of the Millers. He's in a lot of stuff like that. And there's also Patton Oswalt has a scene in this movie. He plays a mall Santa.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, like, yeah, Kumar's kind of still himself, stoner. His girlfriend's pregnant, and it's like they're on the rocks. And Harold is square, clean, with his new square friend. And Danny Trejo shows up, and he brings, like, a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
12-foot Fraser fur.
25 Mexican relatives.
And Kumar gets a package on his doorstep that's made out to Harold. So, like, Kumar goes to drop it off, and it turns out to be a giant joint.
Yeah.
And then he's starting to smoke it, but Harold doesn't smoke anymore, so he throws it out. And this is where the plot kind of begins. It catches the tree on fire.
Yeah.
And so the whole thing is they need to get a new tree.
Before the end of Midnight Mass.
Yeah, before Harold's father-in-law gets home. So it's kind of like the hijinks they go about. Like, they kind of split up again because Harold's pissed off, and then Kumar goes and buys a tree and is with good intentions, but then they get in a car crash and it gets ruined. And then Kumar's friend Adrian is like gonna go to a party and hook up with a chick, and she has a huge Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And it's like a teenage party.
Yes.
And Harold and Kumar beat these two kids' asses in beer pong.
Yeah, but these kids are like 12.
Yeah, and then Todd, the square friend, he has his daughter with him. His little, like...
baby. Like
baby.
2, not even.
And, like, at first, Harold starts smoking in the car while she's in there. It gets her high.
Yeah, gets her high on weed. She's loving it, though.
And then, like, they're running around the party, and a girl sneezes and blows a plate full of cocaine in Todd and his daughter's face, and then she's tripping and all that shit. And then Harold and Kumar think they got the tree won because they play for beer pong in it, but then they get drugged. And then the kid's parents come home, and he's supposed to be some, like, Russian mobster.
Yeah.
And he's actually played by Elias Koteas, and I think that's how you pronounce his last name, but
I'd have to read it.
no one... Koteas. Koteas.
Elias. Koteas.
But he played Casey Jones in those live-action Ninja Turtle movies. And that's one thing... The one thing I really know... he's in a bunch of minor roles, but... And so... He comes and he has his goons start shooting everybody, and they escape, but they're drugged. So there's like a claymation scene.
Yeah.
And they run into their 2 Jewish friends, Rosenberg and Goldstein. And then they show up at Midnight Mass because they see a tree. And it's like, it's a big production. This is where Neil Patrick Harris comes in, because he's doing the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they kind of get roped into being backup dancers for the rehearsal. And they're like, then they have a scene with Neil Patrick Harris, who, he does like this, he plays himself, but he says the whole gay thing is an act.
Yeah, it is an act.
And he's a big womanizer pervert.
His husband or boyfriend is a, like, crack dealer.
Yeah, and they're like, how did you survive? Because in the second one, he gets shot at a brothel.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes through this whole scene, how he went up to heaven, and Jesus got mad because he
stole his bitches.
Yeah, he stole all his naked bitches in heaven. So Jesus called his dad, so God, and had Neil put back on Earth. Oh, the other thing which I loved in this movie is they advertised this toy. It's called a Waffle Bot.
Oh, the Waffle Bot.
It's a robot that makes waffles, and it has a really robotic voice. And Neil Patrick Harris... Kumar wants one so bad, and Neil Patrick Harris has one, and he hates it. He's like, go away! And Harold or Neil Patrick Harris gives Kumar his.
Yeah, because he's tired of it.
And he also gives him a tree.
Yeah.
And so they think they're all good.
But they don't actually get the tree. Or something happens to it.
The goons knock him out.
That's right.
And tie him up in a little warehouse. And they're going to burn him alive, but Wafflebot saves him.
Yeah, because the Russian mobsters came home and
the daughter was trying to have sex.
Slutty ass daughter tried to
have sex with Harold.
That he was trying to
rape her.
Meanwhile, it was the other way around. And
so while that's going on, Adrian and Todd and Todd's baby are stuck in a closet at Sergei Katsov's house, and they're trying to wait to go out. And he finds a bag of ecstasy on the table, and then the baby's making noise in the closet, so he finally opens it. And the baby runs out. And it's like a showdown scene.
Yeah, the baby looked possessed.
and then Adrian knocks out Sergei Katsov with a shake weight. And then Harold and Kumar were tied up in a warehouse, and they were going to be killed, but Wafflebot saves them. And because he shoots syrup, which is piping hot.
Yeah, and it burns their skin and bubbles. And
then his waffle tray knocks a guy out.
Yeah.
And then he burns through the rope.
Pancakes are fucking gay.
That's what he says. And so they go outside finally, and they don't know where they are. They're trying to get people to find them, so Harold shoots a shotgun up in the air, and he just so happens to hit Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And
shoot him in the head.
This is actually Santa Claus. And Santa Claus is played by Richard Reel. I can never pronounce his last name, but he's in a lot of stuff. He's an older guy. If you've seen Office Space, he's Tom Smikowski. You've seen he's Deuce Bigelow, Male Gigolo. He's Deuce Bigelow's dad.
So in Office Space, that's the guy who got hit by a car and is on workers' comp.
Yeah, he's the car dealer in Joe Dirt. He's in a lot of different movies. He's he's in the show that I like called Grounded for Life. And so he's actually Santa Claus, and they shot him in the face. But Harold,
lucky for their medical
school. Kumar was able to fix him up, and then he's like, didn't you guys get my present? And it turns out Santa gave Kumar the joint to bring them back together.
Yes.
So they kind of have a Christmas moment, and they get a ride. Santa gives them a ride back. And he's like, oh, you don't have a Christmas tree in there, Santa? And he's like, no. And then Harold wakes up the next morning, and his stepfather, Danny Trejo, he tells Danny Trejo off that morning, or that night, because he realizes what he did to his tree. And he tells him to fuck off. And then the next morning, Danny Trejo is going apeshit because there's a nice, perfect tree, and you can see Santa's bloody hat on the floor, so he brought it.
So Santa had brought a tree.
And then it shows everyone at the Christmas party that Harold's hosting, and Harold and Kumar are friends again.
And, yeah.
Todd and his baby are all on ecstasy.
Kumar and Jessica make up, and... Vanessa, sorry, not Jessica.
And Wafflebot wears a bow tie.
Yeah, and Harold and Maria get pregnant.
You're right, it is Maria, not Sophia. Yeah, if she finds out she's pregnant, and it's a happy end, and then it shows Santa Claus smoking a bong in his sleigh.
A candy bomb.
Candy. And that's the movie. And as I said, it's a pretty simple movie.
Yeah, it's a typical Harold and Kumar movie.
But it's just a lot of laughs.
Yeah, it was funny.
It was very funny. It has a lot of racism in it.
Yeah.
And
A lot of homage to Christmas Story.
yeah, so I highly recommend it. How did you feel about it?
I liked it. I mean, like, I'm not one of them, like, roll on the floor for, like, slapstick humor, but I don't mind Kumar. I've only ever seen White Castle.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny. It's definitely a change to some of the Christmas movies that are out there.
Yeah, I like it, and it's now. I wonder if it's going to become a Christmas tradition because on Christmas, I think FX or FXX was playing it all day. And when I saw this movie, I saw it in 3D, and it was, yeah, it does make just fun of all the 3D effects.
Yeah.
So.
Well, like, they were obviously over-exaggerated.
Because this was the it was about the time when 3D hype was at its top. Everyone shit themselves.
Yeah, every movie has.
It's like this movie's in 3D.
What movie came?
A lot.
The Great Gatsby.
No.
No, that wasn't 3D. It came out because everything had to be 3D in like 2012.
So, I enjoyed it. G enjoyed it. I recommend it if you haven't seen it. You can watch it on TV nowadays, but it doesn't do it justice. There's too much tits, there's too much dick, there's too much pot smoking, there's too much swearing.
If they're gonna edit it that much, I don't see why they even bother.
Yeah, so I highly recommend it though. And I mean, there's not really much to say about this movie because it's a pretty simple movie. It's just filled with the laughs.
Yeah.
So.
Simple humor makes you want to have a waffle bot.
I want a waffle bot.
I know you do.
Well.
And that wraps up for our Christmas season.
Yeah, we hope everybody enjoyed our Christmas choice movies. Go watch them. Next year we'll do the same thing. We'll get a bunch of Christmas.
Maybe they'll make like a new Christmas movie.
Christmas Story 3.
Nah, not a sequel.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll just have to dig up some more unique ones and.
Oh yeah.
So going forward, we're gonna mass record a bunch of these while G is visiting, and
yeah. So you may notice an improvement in audio quality.
And so for a lot of these next few, I think a couple of these, we're gonna get into either. There's a couple of dramas we have on board.
So get your Kleenex ready.
Or dramedies, as I call them.
Dramedies.
So I think next week.
WWE.
So next week's episode will be a movie that G and I both like. It's a dramedy.
Yeah, and it's something that I've seen.
It's a great movie, and it's called Saved.
And it definitely rings true to
it is
my
so you'll just have to tune in next week to hear us talk about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
So thank you for listening, and until next time, stay classy.
See ya.